Hello and welcome to Paints and Glitter. I welcome you to my channel, and as I have described this video in the description box, of course, this is a tutorial series. I'm just going to do my housekeeping here to make sure that you guys can see what I'm working on, and I'm hoping that my crafty friends join me today in what is the remainder of this tutorial. I'm hoping to be able to finish this book today. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen or not. Let me see here. I want to make sure that you guys can see everything. I think that's a good view there. So I'm going to be working on this and hoping that you guys can follow along. However, I'm going to start doing some prep work as I wait for people to hop in and say hello, and that'll give me an opportunity to get more done, of course, instead of just standing here. So the papers, by the way, if you're re-watching this, are from Shabby Art, the Shabby Art Boutique, which is on Etsy, as well as her own website. However, that is linked in the description box of the video. Any TonicStudios dies that you see me using here are still available for the most part. Some of them may have dropped in price recently, so it's a great time to start grabbing them if you haven't already done so. I am an affiliate of TonicStudios. This is Tonic's birthday week, so happy birthday to TonicStudios. They have made my crafting experience a whole lot of fun. So in celebration of birthdays, of course, there was a birth in our family that I'm very happy about, and that's what this book is regarding. It is a baby book. So I thought it was very apt to share that this week, and that this is why I'm doing this series, showing you how to stretch the dies that you may have in your stash, or you may want to grab from TonicStudios, so that you can also create a really beautiful keepsake of memories where you can add photos, journaling, however you want to use it. And the paper collection is just absolutely darling. It's very wholesome and sweet. So as people come in, if they're interested in seeing the changes I've made to previous pages, I'll certainly share that. And that's how I work on my mini albums. I go back and forth, and it's not done until it's handed to the recipient. So there's always an opportunity to improve, to add more details, and that's what I like to do as I go along. So as I said before, I'm just going to quietly start working here, and as people come in, then I will start explaining what I'm working on or what I'm doing. It'll make it a whole lot easier if I do that instead of repeating myself over and over. And I hope people join me, of course. So thinking here of how I'm going to do this layout, which I had been thinking about for a couple of days. And I might need a pencil, but I don't like marking my pages too much. I'm pretty sure that I had wanted to. Yes, I know what I want to do here. Okay. If you're watching this on replay, just to let you know, you can definitely make the speed of any video on YouTube as fast as you need it to be. I'm not sure if everyone out there knows that, but if you click on the buttons on the upper right hand corner of your screen, whether it be a cell phone or a computer that you may be using, you can definitely increase the speed, and that's very helpful, of course, if you're watching a tutorial and you get the gist of what's being done and you just want to get to the part that is pertinent to what project you may be working on. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for being here. I am doing my mini album tutorial here, and I'm hoping that this works out the way that I've envisioned it. I'll show you in a moment here. Hi, Monica. Thank you for being here also. I am trying to maximize the use of the dies that I have and show you how I go about making mini albums in just different ways, different creative options that you have for how you make them. Now, I'm using washi tape here, and now that I'm removing it, it looks like it's tearing my paper away, which is too bad, but it happens. And this is what you get to see in the live videos, is all the boo-boos, you know? But I think it's time for me to invest in repositionable tape because I just ruined my paper there. However, the benefit of having Shabby Chic is that you can incorporate what you're doing Oh, hi, Wandy, thank you so much for popping in also. Yes, and no problem. You can always rewatch the videos at your leisure, but I do appreciate your support, so a thumbs up on the video would be most appreciated. I'm going to describe what I'm doing here in just a second. But as I had promised, I'm back showing you different types of pages that you can make, right? And the whole idea was use your stash, use what you have. And for today, I'm making a super cute interactive page. And you know, inevitably with these things, you learn as you go as to what looks cute and what doesn't look so cute. But it's all a process. So let me show you what materials I'm using here, because I think I just learned something. Let's set this aside a moment. Okay, so for today, I am, again, I know I repeat myself, but I'm using TonicStudios dies. They happen to be this set here, which I think is super duper cute. It's called My Memory Book Perfect Locks die set, and it looks like that. If you've not seen this before, this just is a complimentary set that you can get that will work along with whatever mini album dies you may already have. They don't necessarily have to be TonicStudios, they just happen to be my favorite. I think it's a great quality product. So that's what I'm using. In here, there are these dies. Let me just show you that quickly. These here cut out circles, as you can tell. Then there are 3 different little channels here. You get to select whichever one you want depending on how you're going to make your page interactive, because that's what this does. It creates a series of locks. I'm going to show you a sample really quickly so you get to see already what it will look like. I use this in this mini album here, and if you haven't seen it, of course, the video is available for you to watch on my channel. But I wanted this to have some really sweet pages that you could pop open and that sort of thing. So here's how I used it. I created a half page, and then here's my little lock, and that's what I'm going to be doing today, is using the little bow. And then what's really cool about this is that you can make it so it'll twirl around, you know, however. Now, I just accidentally pulled it off, but you get what I mean. I'll just add more glue. Just be gentle with it so you don't tear it like I just did. And then you can create your little page that opens up like that. So that's what I'm working on today. I'm going to refresh this just because I never know when my chat is going to give up on me. Now, I'm going to fix this really quick because I don't want to forget. There is a piece underneath here, and I'll show you guys in just a moment. I just want to line it up here. I'm sometimes a little too rough, so learn from me what not to do, right? Just going to add my little hot glue here and put it on there again. But these little things, they're delicate. There's no way around that. Now, the way that I made this is by using these elements here that you can cut out. Now, I did mention this cuts out little circles. So what you essentially do is, once you have those little circles, is you stack them one on top of the other, and you create these little towers. They almost look, they look like pills when you look at them from here. But this is what creates the dimension that's going to allow you to move your little hinge, if you will, or I'm sorry, your lock. That's what I should say. And there's a particular way that you have to assemble it. So, as I mentioned in previous videos, sometimes you have to think in a 3D manner, or, you know, think about the background first, then the middle ground, and then the foreground of your pages, and it'll help you to do that. You can, I'm going to save this little piece here, if you want to, and here's why I mentioned that. You can save the little piece that you cut out using the channel die. Now I'm only using the shortest one today, okay? And what you end up doing is you cut it out of your background page, which you see here. Now I'm a little bit sad because it's not entirely straight, but you live and you learn. You're going to use this. Actually, let me do it over here. I'm going to assemble it by popping it right on here. Okay, so this is my base page. And the little channel piece, you can actually adhere first before you start assembling the rest of your page. So that way you have the same color background, or if you want that little pop of color and it doesn't bother you, you can add a different page first to your base. Then where your page will be, what you'll get is that little peekaboo there. I actually am going to keep this one monochromatic as far as that goes, so I'm just going to use this as my gauge. And of course, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. This is the perfect opportunity for this, and that's why I come along and show you guys what you may already know or may not already know, but okay, so now I've got my little guide there, and that very channel that I cut out of here, I'm going to place here. And again, that's just so that it will look seamless. That's the look that I'm going for here. So I'm going to gauge this here and put my little piece right there. Oopsie. Now this is pearlescent paper, so I have to be careful that it doesn't slip away. All right, before I add this page, I want to make sure that I can put my little pieces here where my little lock mechanism is going to slide back and forth. However, I want to make sure that it stays and that it's not too flimsy. So what I did in the past is that I used a little circle punch like this. And this isn't the strongest, but it gives me, there we go, oops. It gives me a better option to just using the discs alone. Now, you can definitely use the dies, just to let you know. This does come with a die to cut that same circle. I just happen to have a punch. So if you're interested in that, just know that you don't, you're not going to have an incomplete set. Considering the quality of this, I probably should have used the die, but oops. Let me grab that. Okay. Flew away on me, guys, so, okay. So I'm going to grab 2 of these, and because I want it to be sturdy, now this is 110-pound cardstock, but like I've said in the past, I like my work to be nice and sturdy. You guys saw how delicate it was already on the other book. All right, I'm gonna adhere both of these together. Okay, and this is going to be behind here. This is what allows this to move up and down, if you see that, without it falling out of the page. So the circle has to be larger than the channel that you create on that base page. So that's going to hang out back there. But you don't want it to get lost. So you have to be careful here because you want to make sure that you adhere your little circle on top of this before you assemble your page, okay? So I'm gauging here the center of this. And I'm going to use just a little drop of hot glue right in the center of that circle. You can use liquid glue if you're more comfortable with that. And then drop your little stack like that. Place that right there. Now my page is a tiny bit warped because it's pearlescent paper and I ran it through the die cutter with more than one layer. So bear that in mind. But here's my little, let me show you up close. My little mechanism there. All right. It's a larger circle on the back. and then the smaller stack right in the center there, all right? Okay. This is, again, going to go right on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply adhesive on the bottom of this page, on the top. I'm going to remove this one. Or actually, not yet. On the side here. There we go. And I'm going to line this up. I'm holding with this hand the little mechanism in place so it doesn't go anywhere. So this, by the way, is probably going to be the most elaborate page in this mini album. And if you have this die set, please let me know in the comments. I would like to know if anyone watching does own it. So I'm always curious to know the people who come in to watch the videos, whether or not they actually own the same dies or are just trying to get ideas for books using their own. And I do see that, oops, let me see if I have, hoping not to lose connection here, but I'm holding this just to let you know, it takes a moment, so you have to give it a minute for it to dry. I want this page to be really nice, and this is a gift, so I'm not rushing through this at all. I want to make sure that this is right in place, and of course I'm just lining it up with the previous page that's already there. Okay, so now that I have that lined up, now I can take the backing off of the adhesive that's already on that hinge. It makes life a whole lot easier. And it's going to fit perfectly because it's already lined up with that previous page. Now, just to let you know, I would normally let this dry for at least 24 hours before giving it to anyone. Okay, if you're making a mini album as a gift, give yourself the time to go back and make sure that everything was adhered properly so that you don't have any surprises as far as, you know, pages falling apart and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to use my bone folder there to apply a little bit of heat, as I always say, get that glue activated. Yes, Wandy, we have the same weather here as well. So I'm praying that I don't get, you know, knocked out myself over here or disconnected. Oh, wonderful. Yes, this was a good week to shop for TonicStudios products, by the way, because if you are a subscriber to their monthly kit, you're going to get 20% off of anything that you buy by using the code TCK, which means Tonic Craft Kit. So if you didn't already know that. Hi, Chris. Thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed, you may want to. Just take a look at the kit this month. You may fall in love with it and feel that it's worthwhile. If not, you may want to get it because you can always skip a kit, okay? So if you notice here, I have a twin page on this side. And you may want to repeat the same thing. Now, because you've seen me, you know, do it here, okay, then you get an idea of what you can do on the opposing page. It's a matter of laying your die, which I set aside, and I want to make sure, okay. I did put it away properly, so just want to make sure I don't lose it. Okay. So it's that little channel die. You'll see in a minute, Wandy. I'm going step by step because I don't want to get ahead of myself. If I do that, I'm going to ruin my pages. So this is, again, this would go right on the base, just like that. Now, you have the option. I was thinking here of doing a mirror page, but I might actually do it on the side. I think I might do that because I don't want to ruin my base page. But I just have to be clever here because I don't want to cut it so that it won't have room on the page. And I'll explain this. Okay. I'm going to just set this aside for a moment and come back to that initial page. Okay. So here again, it's kind of like a little belly button if you want to look at it that way. I cut that page using that slider that I just showed you, or slider die. I also cut 2 pages here, or 2 little flaps, using another decorative die set. This one is called Memorable Moments Keepsake Insert Creator. It looks like that, and I've used this on this channel already. I just want to show you the option here. And what I did was that I used the largest die here. Okay. I cut it out of 110-pound cardstock. So it looks like this. All right. And then I cut it here so that I would have the size that I needed for the larger portion, and then also for the smaller portion. Okay. Once I did that, I cut my layers, and then of course you use whichever layers you want. It just has so many cute little options there. But as you can see here, I used it for my base, which was that white cardstock. I did cut it down, okay? I added my decorative layer here and then on the back. And once I added those 2 decorative pieces, then I ran it through with this one as well, because this is going to now match up here. Okay? So that was the reasoning behind my madness there. Now I'm trying to get away from these little glue strings, okay? But you can see it even has an indentation there, sadly, but now you're going to see how this will close, okay? Because this is going to be the little mechanism that's going to lock that page in place. But first I'm going to adhere this to that bottom page. What I did was that I created some hinges for myself. And I'll repeat this so that you can see it, okay? But I'm going to line it up here at the bottom. Yes, and I'll mention it again in just a second, Wandy, because I did mention which one it was. It is called My Memory Book Perfect Lock die set. Okay, so if you see here, the page is going to line up right there. And I want to make sure it's nice and straight, of course. And I'm just going to apply that little hinge that I had made for myself. I want to make sure it's straight, though. Don't want a crooked page here. Okay, it's perfectly straight. Sorry, guys, I was just making sure here. Have to focus there. So again, there's my larger portion there of that page. It'll flip up like this. There's that hinge that I just applied there, and I showed you in a previous video how to create those. And then there's the top portion, and as you can tell, I added that first, and there's a reason why I added this one first. If I were to have placed this on top now, then you would see that white strip up here. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I don't like it when you see that white strip. So I did add my top page first and then cover it with that decorative piece of paper, and that way it hides it. So that's the only reason for that. But now I have my piece that's going to go right on top. Okay, and this was created with 2 dies that layer together. There's the base one that I cut the blue paper out of. And then both of those together cut out this intricate piece on top in yellow. Hopefully you can see that. So now that can just go right on top here to decorate my page, and it fits perfectly. So I'm just going to glue this down. I agree, Wandy. These dies are absolutely stunning, and they add so much elegance to anything that you make, really. And if you think about it, if you have a wedding gift to make for someone, you don't have to make all of the pages differently. You can pick a single one of these layouts that you liked and repeat it on every single page, and it'll look cohesive. You know, what I would recommend is, in that case, to use the best papers that you have. You use the shinier papers, you know, the glitzy ones that you tend to hide in a stash, and use them for those special occasions. In this case, I use my pearlescent cardstock, as I mentioned before, and I printed onto that, and it just gives a little level of richness to it that it otherwise might lose. But now, this little flap here, you don't want that just hanging out, as you know, if you will. So what I decided to do was to use from that same die set, the memory book one, this gorgeous little frame here, and I'm going to place it right here. And I'm going to gauge where this little button will stop, okay? All right. So I'm going to go right above it, just almost touching it, but not quite. And that's where I'm going to adhere this to that top page here. Hi, Samantha. Welcome, darling. Just going to place adhesive here. And I can always go back and add more glue, but just for the sake of placing that on my page. And yes, it hides some of the decoration, but that's okay. Don't concern yourself too much with that. Okay. But that's now going to go right here. Just make sure it's centered if you can. All right. And now for the piece de resistance, as they say. Samantha would know how to say that perfectly. The little bow can go right on top. And then the little flaps of that bow are what's going to hold that page together. Okay? And I am going to use hot glue for this. Right in the center, but you don't want to put so much that it starts oozing all over the place. So just give it a second, because as you guys know, it's very liquid initially, and you're just aiming for the very center of that bow. And that was also cut out using the same die set. Just going to pop it right on top of that little circle, just like so. And it's super delicate looking. What I did here, just to let you know, is that I cut out the base piece, which is this bow here. I cut it out in pearlescent cardstock, and then I used the layer piece and cut it out twice. Once in glitter, white glitter paper, and then three times. Once in white glitter paper, then in 110-pound cardstock, and then I layered the red gingham right on top, because this is the paper that coordinates with this collection. So I wanted it to have that little pop of color, and that all gets adhered right in the center here. Okay. So because I'm going to make it again, I'm just going to pop my little glue there and then put this right in the center, and I've got my little layers. Now the way that you glue this is up to you. But it does have, just so you know, a scoring line right in the center, so you can definitely pinch this as tight as you want to, then apply your hot glue and put it right on top, and it's going to be super dimensional. So that's what I would recommend if you're using it on a cover or on a box. But because this is going to be on an interior page, I tried not to make it too dimensional, because of course it's going to compete with its partner page. And that's something you need to bear in mind when you're making 3D pages and that sort of thing. And that's also the reason why I went ahead and decided that on this partner page here, that same little bow is going to be off to the side. So that way they're not crushing into each other when the page gets assembled. Okay? And now, once I unlock this, as you can tell, that little bow makes it just to the bottom of that page. Here you can see it's going to twirl around and everything, very playful. But now I can add another little frame back here, or one here. And I do have some cut out. I just have to back this up first because I do like to use the decorative paper to cover up the white, you know. But say I wanted to cover this up, then I can just match the frame here. Oops, sorry, I was out of frame there. I can just match that little frame and it'll be cohesive and it'll look finished, okay? So the same down here, I can now add another piece of paper. In fact, let me find that. I can add this one here. And if I want to, so that it doesn't compete with that little channel, I can just go ahead and place the die exactly where it would be here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to trace it first. Sorry, guys. Getting ahead of myself. All right. So I can trace this here. And that's where I'll place that die so that I can finish this off nicely. Just put my little channel right there. So it does take some planning, but I think it's worthwhile. So I'm just going to cut this really quickly. So I hope that this is self-explanatory. But of course, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you like that idea, please give me a thumbs up. I see I have 6 people watching, so that would mean a whole lot to me. I have a lot of people who watch the videos and they get, they stop by and forget to leave me a thumbs up. Okay, so now, as I said before, there's my little channel there. And by the way, this pink gingham paper is not from the same paper collection. It just happened to match and I had quite a bit of it. So I decided to go ahead and incorporate it here. Another thing that you want to bear in mind is the length of your pages might vary depending on, or it might need to vary, I should say, depending on how many hinges you have on that page. Okay, so if you have a barrier here because you created a hinge, you may need to cut away a tiny little portion of this, and I'm talking about a 1/16 of an inch. Or as we say, oh, thank you, Samantha. As we say in Spanish, un cachito. So just a little hair. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. It removes a little bit of the decorative edge because this does have some stippling, but no one's going to miss that. It's better to have it look nice and clean and have it fit on your page nicely. Okay, so what you want to make sure is that it's nice and straight. So here I kind of have to cut it a tiny bit crooked, in fact. And it's because my paper kind of bubbled up a little bit. I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna line that up again. Now again, I'm taking my time here purposely because this is going to be a gift. I'm not going to rush through this. And this is why I decided to do the videos, you know, break them up. I'm also, you know, for other reasons I can't be standing too long. But I'm going to show you, for those of you who came in a little bit later, I'll show you again. So let's try to do the same thing, but with a different angle, if you will. Okay. All right, so I've got my little pink. Now to this, just to let you know, I'm going to be adding all of those little frames. So you see that? It'll break it up. So it's not so, you know, plain, if you will. But if you wanted to, you could add a journaling block here or whatever you want to do. You know, it really depends on what you're going for. And then the same thing repeated, you know, in a different color. I'll cut this out and add another frame here. Another one up here at the top, as I had shown you guys, and then the one right on the front. But if you don't want to add all of them as picture frames, you don't have to. You can certainly add a sentiment here instead, and then do all of the pictures on the inside. That's really a matter of personal preference. Okay, so let's do that again. I've got my little partner page here, as I had mentioned before. So before I glue it down, I'm going to repeat the process, only now, even though I have the same layers, I'm going to go at it from a different angle. Again, so that I get my cute little bow and everything, but so that it doesn't knock into the previous page. So let's give that a try. And I have to think upside down, guys, so bear with me. Okay. All right, my page is going to go in this way. And it helps to, just to let you know, it helps to kind of measure the pieces and how they're going to fit. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut that circle that I had mentioned before. Go ahead and cut that out of heavy, heavy cardstock. You know, the heaviest you have, because that's going to help. Okay, I just so happen to have more of that pearlescent cardstock, so I'm just going to fold that in half, and if it fits, I'll use that. So this is nice and heavy also, and it's pretty. So are you guys, oopsie, are you guys crafting today? Taking advantage of any of the sales this week? I'm going to use my washi tape, and this time I'm going to remove a little bit of the sticky so I don't ruin the foundation of my page here. Okay, so as you see, I did double that up. The one thing I can't stand though is when it sticks to the plate and not the paper. Come on, guys. Woohoo! There we go. I was talking to my paper, by the way. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing round 2 of what I just created, so you get to see it all over again. All right. So there's that. I'm hoping not to have to cut any more, but be patient with me if I have to. Okay, so I'm doubling up the little circle, as I said before. Whenever you can make it sturdier, go ahead and make it sturdier. All right, that's my little circle there. And I don't know if I want to use the bow again. I'm kind of teetering on using a different one because there is a little pacifier one too. Hello, Sweetie Pie Scrapbooking. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to gauge this here, and I want to make sure that I can adhere this page to my foundation and still have this move, okay? So naturally, I want to stay away from that the edge of my paper and not have it too close there, okay? So gauge that, and according to that, you can place your die. So I'm going to do it about, let's see here. Let's make it so that it's about 3/4 of an inch away from that corner is what I would suggest. The angle, of course, is up to you, but here's what I'm thinking, okay? Where are my layers? Here they are. my thought process is, oh, wonderful. Thank you for doing that, Carolyn. I appreciate it. That I definitely want to place my little, okay, this mechanism here, or this flip, I want to place it at the same height as the previous one, right? And that was about 1 2/8 inches away from the top. So I'm going to place my ruler here. And yes, I try to be this precise when I'm doing things, okay, guys? And the reason is because it's visually appealing if it all has balance. So I can tell there that I'm going to be able to cut that just fine. And I'm sorry if I'm out of frame there, but if you need to use washi tape to kind of, you know, place your items and gauge that, then you can do that. I hope that you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to move this up a little bit. All right, so in any case, that's where it's going to go. Right there, about 3/4 inch away from that corner. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I'll check it, Carolyn, and I apologize if I didn't respond. But thank you for supporting, oh my gosh, Carrie Ann, that's her name. Carrie Ann is the designer of the papers, so thank you for supporting her, because I know you're like me. Even if you know how to make something, you support other people too, so that's super cool. All right, so there's my page. Looking kind of yucky right now, but don't worry about that. It's gonna all work out. I am going to use, as I said before, go ahead and use that washi tape if you need to, whatever, to gauge where this is gonna go. But I'm not going to cut it right on top of the base page as I did before, because that kind of warped it a little bit. It gave it kind of a belly, and I didn't like that. But say this was your hinge, just pretending here, right? You can do this to create your little flap so you see where that's going to land, okay? And now I'm going to place this here, okay? Gauging it the same way that I did before. I'm going to place my washi tape right on there to hold that die in place. Actually, nope. Let's back it up, guys. Sorry, I have to place my decorative paper on it first. This is what I mean. I get ahead of myself. There are so many steps that you don't want to... Actually, I'll place that at the end. No. I think I just lost a die. I want to place this on first. And this, again, it just has a simple hinge. All right. And I apologize if it seems random. I promise you it's not. Just going to place this here. And there's a reason I'm doing it this way. It's so that, again, I can hide my little hinges there. Okay. But there's my little top page that I had spoken about. Add that one first. Now back to this again. Going to add my decorative paper. And that's so that you don't have to repeat the cutting over and over and over again. So that's the reasoning behind all of this, guys, okay? Makes life a whole lot easier. And I'm trying to get glue out of this bottle. Here we go. Normally it's oozing out all over the place, but on live videos it decides to be shy. Come on, here we go. All right, so decorative paper on the front and on the back. As I said before, if you're concerned about the length of that, because of that hinge, you can definitely cut it down a tiny little bit. It's up to you. I'm going to place my second one back here. And the cool thing about TonicStudios dies, of course, is that they are good quality, so they are going to cut through 3 and 4 layers of paper. Now, this is... very lightweight paper. The white paper here that I use is 65-pound weight, but it's still, you know, pretty substantial in my opinion. Oh, I'm sorry, Wandy. I wonder, it's got to be the weather for sure. All right, so you've got your back, your front, and that little flap. Okay, gonna make sure I burnish that. Just like that. Okay. Let's plan the page. And I'm pretty sure I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure it was right there. Okay. Like so. Put my die right on top here so that I can place my washi tape right on that page. Remove some of the sticky, right? Okay. Now, let's take away that bottom page. We don't need it right now. We're going to just cut this piece here. All right. It's a great day to snuggle up with a book. Listen to some music. I had every intention, by the way, of coming here yesterday, but that didn't happen. The little slots create a channel. And then once you create that channel, you're going to place the mechanism inside that's going to allow you to make it an interactive page. So you're just making room for the 3D element of the page. That's all it is, really. I don't know if you guys remember penny slider cards from back in the day. You know, if you go back 10, 15 years in crafting, that was all the rage, to make a little card that would have the sliding motion, and you would make like a little truck or something like that, or an airplane. It's the same concept. In fact, there are other companies that have made this type of die. This is nothing new. Okay, so it's the same thing. Let's go ahead and apply. I need my circle, can't forget that. I'm going to apply an opposing page because I need a base for this to go on. Okay. Just so happen to have it right here. So this is going to be the background, if you will. I'm just going to take away the backing of my adhesive here. Place my page down. Trying to make sure it's nice and neat here. If you need to know the measurements of all of these, by the way, I mentioned them in the first video. So you can go back and see what size the book is and all of that good stuff, and how many pages I have in here. Okay, so there's my base here. And now this is going to go on top. We did this already on the opposing page. Now, as I said before, you don't want to lose that little circle, so let's put that back there, right? That's what's going to allow it to slide. All right, so let's place our adhesive. I'm going to place it on the base here. Don't really need it on the corners because that's not going to fall apart or anything, but okay, let's not lose that. And then take away the backing here. All right, if you're comfortable with that. What you want to make sure is that you don't have that sliding all over the place. Not quite yet, right? So long as you can see it there, it's you'll be safe. And I hope I'm in frame. Okay, so I'm going to place my page here, trying to make sure it's nice and lined up. And now apply my pressure gently. Okay, I did forget to put my little channel behind it, guys. I saved it and I forgot, but that's okay. It's just going to show the white pearlescent background. and that's fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. Okay, so I've got my little circle there. Right in the center, I'm going to apply my hot glue. Yes, you guys, you're going to be blown away as to how many elements this collection has. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys make, because I know it's going to be entirely different depending on what image catches your eye first from the ones that you print out. Because that's what happened to me. I thought I was going to go in one direction, and then I saw the images and thought, oh my gosh, wait, what if I do this? You know, you just start getting ideas immediately. But if you see that, okay, think of it this way, Wandy. I think you're going to remember it. It's an outie, okay? So pretend it's a little belly button that's poking out of your paper. You're creating a little outie there. Okay? And yeah, it's a magnificent, magnificent collection of, you know, choices there. So here's my page, right? Remember that? I hope it's straight. No, I don't know if it is. I might have to, nope, it's not straight. Oh boy, what am I gonna do? Well, let's pretend it's straight because I'm gonna have to make it work. All right, the good thing is it's only off by about a 1/16 of an inch, so it's gonna work anyway. I'm not gonna punish myself for that. But it looks like my die shifted over a tiny little bit, but in the end it'll work out, okay? What I'm making sure here is that I have the height of that page that I want. And it is matching almost perfectly. Might have to move it up a tiny little bit. Okay, just like that. So here's where I'm going to apply this one. And for that, I need a hinge. I spoke about hiding those hinges, and here I forgot to do it. So this is what I was supposed to put on here first, and I completely forgot. So learn from my mistakes, friends. Learn from my mistakes. But in any case, there's the hinge. Moving it down, moving it down. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to apply my little hinge there. All I did was take the backing off, guys. And I think all of you know how to do that, so don't think I need to focus on that too much. All right, I'm going to flip this over because I am doing this all backwards, or upside down, I should say. There we go. All right, so that looks good to me. Okay, now remember what I said about this? You can cover this up by creating another layer there. Which what I'll do is, because I have to go find the paper again and cut it out, I'll just do that off camera. But just to show you there, you can do now your decorative piece right on top. As I mentioned before, in this case I did the pink from the collection, and again the decorative yellow on top. And I'm going to place this on here. Yeah, you know, fussy cutting, depending on what it is, I enjoy it. I did all of the fussy cutting for this book without using my Cameo or my Cricut. Don't tell my husband. Actually, he couldn't care less. I have the machines, and sometimes I use them and sometimes I don't at all. So here's where I can place that little bow again. But again, as I mentioned before, you might want to put your little frame on first because you need to have a reason to have that there. Now, I was thinking of doing the bow, but I might change it to the little pacifier. What do you guys think? Because I think the pacifier is so stinking cute. Oh, hi, Rocky. Thank you for being here again. I'm so glad you could stop by. I'm hoping this reads as a pacifier. Let's give it a try. I'm going to cut it out and see if I like it. Because it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, wouldn't it be so stinking cute if I did a glitter one? Little glitter pacifier. And so yeah, leave a thumbs up if you can. If you want to, if you want me to use the pacifier, leave a thumbs up. How's that? Just don't give me a thumbs down if you don't want me to use it. But I think that little binky is so stinking cute. So let's do that with, let me see here, pink center. And this is where all of these little, what do you call these? The leftover pieces, bits and pieces can come in and be a lot of fun to use. Okay, so again, as I mentioned before, this does leave a score line in the center, so you can pop it up if you want to. That's meant to create that elevation so that you have something to hold on to. But because I'm doing this on an interior page of my book, I'm going to just lay it flat. And as I mentioned before, I don't like it to be chintzy, so yes, I'm going to back it up with 110-pound cardstock whenever possible. And I just think those are the extra little steps that are worth taking, because you'll regret it if you don't. Ooh, God bless my joints. Just had to bend over there. All right. So you'll get to see all of it bit by bit. And then what I'll do is, I think I'm gonna inevitably have to come back a different day to do the cover, guys. As much as I hate doing that, but it's because I've been standing for too long already. And I'm not supposed to be. I'm breaking the rules here for myself. Okay. Let's get our glue out. Place it on the layers. These are just little base layers here. And what I'm thinking, I got to thinking about the little pacifier. I can bling it out, which is another good reason to go ahead and use it. There we go. And I like to use this little tool that you use for gems. It's really fun to use also to just grab your papers if it works, why not? So, oopsie, almost put the glue in the wrong place here. Now I'm grabbing the wrong things here, guys. If you use glitter paper, I don't know about you, but I can never get liquid glue to work on glitter paper. So inevitably I end up using hot glue on it. Oh my gosh, it's so stinking cute. But this is a little pacifier, is what that is. So Tea Time and Dolls is Carolyn. And then Rocky, I don't know if you just only go by Rocky or if you have a first name that you go by, but please let us know. And then Découverte and Imagination is Samantha. And then we have Wandy, who's Wendy, and I don't know, Sweetie Pie, Scrapbooking, I don't know. Okay, yeah, she had to go do some cleaning, so she's left the building. So, back to my page. I'm going to adhere the blue one on this side. And again, because this is going to be what holds it in place, I'm going to try to place my frame as close to that as possible there. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so glad I did it on the side. Oh, thank you, Rocky. You know, I do the same thing. As soon as I turn on a video, it's like, boom, immediately, so I don't forget. And you know why? It's for me, it's an accountability thing. that if I say I'm going to support someone, that I'm wholeheartedly going to support them. And if I find that for some reason I can't, I'm not watching the video. And I'm just being completely honest on that. But I don't subscribe to channels that I don't, you know, there's no reason for me to even go there, you know, because I don't, what do they call that? Young people call that trolling. Not gonna troll a channel I don't support. All right, so here's the little binky, as we call it in this house, little pacifier. I'm just going to add my hot glue right in the center of that, what I had called the little outie. It's just a little tower of circles, guys. Okay, and I did cut those out with 110-pound cardstock, by the way, because I wanted them to be nice and substantial. So just very gently, okay? So if you see there, now that's supporting the corner of that frame to hold that closed. And yes, I forgot to add my little channel there, but if I really want to be finicky about it, I can definitely add this behind there. And, you know, go crazy, but I'm not going to do that to myself. It's not worth it. But here's the other one. And you can tell the little the little bow can twirl around and whatever. And it's not extremely tight, just so you know. But it does its job, okay? So again, that's holding the frame right at the bottom here. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. You know how much love I'm putting into this. Because that's, you know, this is our love language, right? To just, you know, dedicate our time into making sweet little items for people who are near and dear to us. So why not? Why not go the extra mile, right? So speaking of which, now if, you know, I did say this was a Shabby Chic album, I can definitely go back and add my little pieces of lace here and there, whether it be on the top here, which I think this would look really cute. So let's do it, because I don't like to overthink things. Yeah, the slider thingamajig is called, from this particular brand anyway, from Tonic, is my Memory Book Perfect Lock Die Set. Okay? And you can see the samples there that they have, where they've glued it differently than I did, just to show that you can make a little handle. But I kept it flat because I'm going to be blinging that out too, guys. I'm going to be adding my little gems that I like to add, because you guys know when I create a mini album, I like it to have a bit of shine. I don't ever leave it flat, if you will, because that's just not my, that's not my thing, right? So, but whatever appeals to you, of course, that's what you do, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm adding a little bit of lace up here because I think it's going to add that little touch of shabby that I was talking about. Roxanne. Oh my gosh, Rocky. People used to call me that when I was in middle school. For some reason back then, people just insisted on giving me a nickname, but I've never gone by any nickname. So I didn't respond to it. We use, in Spanish, we use diminutives when, you know, for people's names a lot. So a girl's name will end in ita or isa, and then a boy's name will end in ito or iso. So you hear a lot of that. So of course mine was Raquelita, because my name is Raquel in Spanish. So I do respond to Raquelita, for my family, that is, you know. I don't get informal with people that I don't know. Sorry, it's just not me. So yeah, but Rocky, I guess that would be the same thing. If you're Roxanne, you go by Rocky. It's the same concept. All right, guys, so I'm super happy with these pages. I think they're so cute. And then let's go backwards, right? Because you guys were not all here for the previous pages, but I did finish these off. Oops, gotta be careful with her little foot. I finished these off by adding a little girl here. I had not done that on the live video. I added the little gems to make that more dimensional. Let me pull my light over so you guys get to see. It's kind of, I'm sorry, it's cloudy, very, very cloudy here, but I added the little birdhouse as a 3D element, the same lace you just saw me use. And if you weren't here for this, this was just a very easy layout that opens up like that. I'm hoping that I'm in frame here. Yep. Okay. Leilani. Oh, that's so cute. I'm sure there's a story behind that. But I love that name. Leilani. Oh, and by the way, back here, what I did was, again, another element of the Shabby is I used these inexpensive little paper doilies. I think they're so cute. And then I used some little hearts. This is a chipboard one, and this is a sticker that's 3D gemmy, I guess is what you would call it, but it's a little heart and it has little flowers on it. I don't know if you can see that, but that was given to me by my dear friend Vicky. So I used that there. This, by the way, was all done on the live video. I'll go ahead and list all of those as a playlist, by the way. I did another little heart down here because it had a rose in it. So that was a little addition to that. The little white gems all around the edge. We did that on the live video, I think, as well. I just finished it off with the decorative papers. Leilani. Oh, okay, yep, from Hawaii. Oh, that's beautiful. Love it. I have a little niece that was born in Hawaii, but her name is, oh my gosh, her name is, it means the sakura flower. Oh my gosh. It's Japanese, and I forget. I'm sorry, I just blanked. Anyway, I have no business talking about that anyway, because it's gonna throw me off. But there's the other little page with the house. I think, let me see if I added anything to this, because I forget. Oh yes, I added the little photo corners up here, okay? I didn't do that on the video. And then in the center there, I don't know if you can see, but I did add some little hearts that are made with beautiful board, and those are from Renee Bouquets. They're itty bitty little hearts. You can find those at her shop. Everything got blinged out, okay? So there's gems galore all over this. And I think my tape is holding on to the side of that. Yep. So this one I had finished, in case you didn't see that. The tuck-in also. And again, this is just an option. The opposite one I blinged out as well. Because it is a polka dot paper, I went ahead and used those gems and followed all the polka dots and completed that, because I love to add texture. And then this one I had done in the video, but oopsie, it's upside down. What I did was that I added this little butterfly. That's a die from TonicStudios that came with the little house one. And I just used that to cover up the ribbon there. So you would have seen this without the ribbon there. And then again, this is supposed to be like a little window. What I did was that I used it to hold that ribbon in place. All right. And I'm having to put it in there upside down, but that's okay. And then I repeated the same little photo corners, I'm sorry, over here. Oh, and I added the Shabby seam binding to the little paper, what do you call these things? The little tabs to open the pages. So again, as I mentioned before, you can go back and forth and keep adding details. Off camera, I also added this gorgeous dainty lace here. And it has blue in the center. I believe that was given to me by Deb Hendrick, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you, Deb, if you watched the video. And then I added the little label down here that I had printed out and then cut with my dies. I didn't do anything over here. I think I needed to print out another one. Oh, and then this page here, I completed by adding, in the paper collection, she includes the little tabs for you to make your page tabs, you know, if you're making a journal and that sort of thing. So I added a pink one down here, another photo corner, and then just bling that one out, just for detail. And then on here, I completed this one by adding a triple layer bow there, and then a gem there in the center that's got a little flower. Okay, so that completes those pages. And now I still have my final page here to assemble, the back of the book, and of course, as I mentioned, the cover and the spine. So I'm going to see how much I can do on camera of these things, but I do have to listen to my doctor, and I have been here for an hour, so I'm really sad to have to end the video. If I can, I'll come back and finish the cover with you guys, but I'm not going to promise to do the very last page with you guys, just because I do need to finish this project. And I'm eager to finish it, so. But I thank you guys for having joined me. Do you have, before I leave, do you have any questions for me so far as what I used or anything like that? Because I'm, you know, now's a good time to ask, of course. But I'm super happy so far with the results. I didn't think it was going to be as chunky as it is, but I'm really happy that it did end up that way. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. You know that means a lot to me coming from you. Because you do Shabby, you know. It's, you have more experience doing Shabby than I do. I think I do it in a shy manner, right? Thank you, Samantha. And by the way, don't forget to use the links in the description box of this video if you're interested in either the papers, because as I mentioned in the past, they are only available for a limited time. If you don't subscribe, you're not going to be able to get this collection. And as far as TonicStudios products, you know I'm an affiliate. It would do me a world of good if you did use my links, because it helps support my channel. And it helps me to bring you videos such as these. If you know anyone that likes to make memory books and needs some ideas to spark their imagination, or is maybe in need of some encouragement in their crafting, please send them my way. That's the best, you know, the best compliment that you could pay me is to recommend my channel to your friends, of course, regardless of whether or not they shop for these products. Because it means a lot to me if you know, trust me to give you advice on your creativity and your crafting. But I thank you guys. As I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I hope to see you again in my next video. Ciao, ciao.